Hello everyone, welcome to the Officers IAS, and today we'll be doing the chapter 3 of Geography's NCERT, that is India Physical Environment, called as the drainage system. Right? So without wasting much time, let's look at only the stuff which I think is very important from the exams perspective. Now, drainage system is one of the favorite topics of UPSC and in general the state services exams, because here there is a lot of rivers and all those, from where it has its origin, where it flows. There have been questions asked about east and west flowing rivers. There were names given, and you needed to identify which of the following rivers are the eastern side, the western side flowing rivers, right? So the catchments का मतलब क्या हो, जहाँ पे रिवर कैच करती है. कैच क्या करती है? रेन वाटर. So the catchments of the larger rivers are called as basins. Just like a basin is, जैसे हमारे घर में होता है ना, it is a large one जहाँ पे water collect होता है, right? And where we wash our hands and all of that thing, right? So for the larger rivers, these catchment areas are called as basins. And for the smaller rivulets, why I'm saying rivulets, not rivers, because smaller rivers are called as rivulets. Are called as the watershed, where the water sheds itself, right? Now, drainage are of 4 types. What are those? The number 1 is tree or the dendritis type, where there is in the shape of a tree and you have the branches, right, like that, right? The second one is the radial type, right? For instance, let's say this is the top of a hill and यहाँ से इस direction में भी, इस direction में भी, इस direction में भी और उस direction में, so it is draining in the form of like a circle, the radius of a circle. ठीक. The third one is the trellis type. So let's say this is the river. Let's make it more realistic by drawing the water with blue color. Now, let's say this is the principal tributary. Principal means the main tributary of that river. For instance, let's say this is Ganga. So the primary tributary could be Yamuna here. Right. Now, if the subsequent tributary means the tributary of the primary tributary. For instance, let's say Chambal. Chambal is a tributary of the river Yamuna, right? So if it is joining the primary tributary at a 90-degree angle, subsequent tributary, then it is called as the trellis type. The fourth one is the centripetal. It appears like the radial type, but the direction is very different. For instance, in radial it moves outwards, while in centripetal it moves inside like this. right? Now the drainage of India, like where the rivers are draining, it is in two directions. One is in the east and one is in the west. In the direction of east, it is very natural because the tilt is towards that side, that is from northwest to southeast. The peninsular block is tilted that way, and the western direction is of like very special case. So UPSC tends to ask these special cases. Now the western side, as we know, there is Arabian Sea, and the eastern side there is Bay of Bengal. Right now, almost 77% of the India's drainage is happening in the Bay of Bengal, and 23% is happening in the Arabian Sea. Right? Few of the west flowing rivers are Namada, Tapi, Mahi, and Periyar. अभी हम पढ़ेंगे आगे और भी, right? इसके अलावा we also have to talk about one of the key important terms which can be asked, called as water divide. Called as the water divide, where for instance, like this is an imaginary line which separates the two side flowing rivers. For instance, it divides जैसे कि eastern flowing rivers and the western flowing rivers, right? So the water divide passes through Delhi Ridge, Aravallis, and the Sahyadris, which is the name of the Western Ghats in Maharashtra. So in general, whole Western Ghats is covered. So you can say Sahyadris as in the Western Ghats. So three places: Delhi Ridge, Aravallis, and Sahyadris. Sahyadri, yeah. Now let's look at the river Indus. इंडस रिवर का दूसरा नाम क्या है? सिंगी खंबन, राइट? ओरिजिन क्या है भाई? ओरिजिन है कैलाश रेंज में बोखार glacier, right? Now it flows between the Ladakh and the Zaskar range. We all know कि नॉर्थ टू साउथ क्या होता है, इसके ऊपर क्या होगा? काराकोरम, राइट? So Indus River flows between Ladakh and Zaskar range. Plus it passes through Leh and Baltistan, right? Further, Indus is also called as the Panj Nad. Nad means Nadi and Panj means 5. So it is made up of 5 rivers. We all know Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Byas, Satluj, right? Now let's look at some of the tributaries. So whenever we are talking about tributaries, we need to know what are the right bank tributaries. For instance, let's say Indus is flowing this side, right? So its right bank tributary would be this, and the left bank tributaries would be this. So if you talk about the right bank tributaries, so these are Khurram, Tochi, Gomal, Viboa, and Sangar. Sangar. Let me write it more clearly. If we talk about the left bank tributaries of the river Indus are Shyok, Nubra, Hunza, Gilgit, Zaskar, Shigar, Dasting, not Dasting, it's Gusting. And Dras, right? Let's look at the Panjnad rivers. First one is the Jhelum River. Jhelum River has its origin from the Verinag, right? Now this Verinag is in the Kashmir Valley, and we all know where कौन सी ranges के बीच में the Kashmir Valley lies. Can you remember? It is between the Great Himalayas and the Peak Panchal. Right? Jhelum also forms the Dal Lake. Right? Dal Lake is a freshwater lake. Right. Jhelum is done. Now let's look at Chenab River. Chenab River is the longest, or should I say the largest, tributary of the Indus River. It is formed by two of the main rivers, which are called as the Chandra and Bhaga. Right? कोई दिक्कत यहाँ तक? In the Himachal Pradesh. Right? Third, if we talk about Ravi plus Byas, they both enter India through the Rohtang Pass. Right? And they both meet at the Harike. Sorry, they don't meet at Harike. It's Byas and Satluj. Right, so Ravi and Byas enters India through the Rohtang Pass. Right? That means they don't have an origin origin in India. Right? If we talk about the river Satluj, Satluj enters India through the Shipkila Pass. Right? It is also called as Langchen Khambeb, not Singhi Khamban. Right? Singhi Khamban is for Indus. Satluj River is called as Langchen Khambeb. Right? It has its origin from the Rakas Tal near Mansarovar Lake. Right? And it flows parallel to the river Indus in India. Right? Now we are done with the Indus river system. Let's look at the Ganga river system. Ganga river has its origin at Gomukh in the Gangotri glacier, right? Here it is called as Bhagirathi, right? Now, related to Ganga, we should know about something called as Panchprayag. Panch again means 5. So this is from the north to south, right? So start from the first, which is, अभी आगे बताऊंगा, जैसे कि विष्णु प्रयाग. तो अभी आप सिर्फ फर्स्ट नाम याद रखो, विष्णु. विष्णु का ही दूसरा नाम आप कह सकते हो नंद. थर्ड इज कर्ण. देन लास्ट वन इज द रुद्र. एंड द फिफ्थ वन इज द देव, राइट? अभी इसके आगे, सबके आगे प्रयाग जोड़ दो. नाउ विष्णु प्रयाग is formed at the meeting point or the merging point of the, यहाँ पे सब में प्लस में क्या होगा, अलकनंदा, राइट? जैसे विष्णु भगवान बहुत धोते हैं ना लोगों को, बुरे लोगों को, तो धौली गंगा. देन नंद प्रयाग is formed at the meeting of the river Nandakni. नंद से बन गया नंदाकनी. And suppose Karn needs to apologize to Rudra and he is sitting in his chamber. So Karn needs to go andar, which is called as Pindar. Right? Then Rudra, we all know there is one famous Apsara or, a princess, I don't know, that is called as Mandakini. And at Dev Prayag, there is a merge of Bhagirathi and Alaknanda. Right? Let's look at the tributaries. Right? So the tributary from the south is the Son River, which has its origin in the Amarkantak Plateau. And we all know that Amarkantak is the Patland Plateau, that is a plateau within the larger plateau. We have studied about this in our previous chapter when we were talking about the physiographic divisions, right? So from the south, it has a tributary called Son, which has its origin in the Amarkantak. Its longest and westernmost is the river Yamuna, which has its origin in the Bandarpuch range at the Badrinath. Right? Further, Ganga's left bank and the right bank tributaries. Right? So the left bank tributaries are again in the west to east order. सवाल अभी recently भी आया शायद 2024 में. One at Ram Ganga, which merges with Ganga at Kannauj, the perfume capital of India. Then it's Gomti, right? Then it's Ghagra, right? Where Ghagra is, joined by the Sharda or Kali Ganga. दोनों नाम एक ही नदी के हैं, which has its origins in the Nepal Himalayas. So अभी तक कोई दिक्कत? रामगंगा, गोमती, घाघरा, then it's wait a minute. Further, this Ghagra has its origin. Sorry, not origin. It merges with Ganga at Chhapra University, Ghagra Chhapra, right? Chhapra, and its origin is the Mapcha Chungo Glacier. Mapcha Chungo Glacier, right? And its own tributaries are Tila, Seti, and Biri. That is Tila, Seti, and Biri, right? So Ramganga, Gomti, Ghagra. The next is Gandak, right? It merges with Ganga at Sonpur, right? Further, it is formed by Kaligandak and Trishul Ganga, right? The next is Kosi River, which is also called as the Sorrow of Bihar. It is an antecedent river. What do you mean by antecedent river? Antecedent rivers are those rivers जैसे कि कहीं पे कोई चेंज आया ड्यू टू एक्टिविटीज़ हैपनिंग इनसाइड द अर्थ, तो कहीं पे सबमर्जेंस हो गया, कहीं पे इमर्जेंस हो गया, तो देयर इज़ अ चेंज इन द फिजियोग्राफी ऑफ इंडिया. सम जो अभी अंदर था वो ऊपर हो गया, बट डिस्पाइट दैट if the river maintains its original course, then it is called as the antecedent river, right? Now this Kosi river, you can say, is formed by the merger of Sun Kosi, Taimur Kosi, Sapt Kosi, and Arun river, right? Regarding the sorrow, if you know, if you talk about the Damodar river, it is the sorrow of Bengal. Damodar's tributary is the Barak river, right? And Damodar in turn, merges with the Hooghly river. Right? Just give me a second and come from the washroom. So we are done with two river systems of India. Now let's look at the third river, Brahmaputra river. right? So Brahmaputra river is again from the Kailash range itself, you know, Kailash range में, just like the Indus river, but their glaciers are different. For instance, Kailash range में Brahmaputra river is from the Cheam glacier, right? While for the Indus river, it is the Bokhar Chu glacier, right? And is regarding Brahmaputra river, we should also know about its right bank and the left bank tributary. So the right bank tributary of the Brahmaputra river is the Rango, Sangpo in Tibet. अभी हम इंडिया के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में बात करेंगे. If we talk about India, its right bank tributaries are Subansari, Kameng, Manas, and Sankosh, while its left bank tributaries are Dibang or Sikang, Lohit, Buri, Dihing, and the Dhansui. Dhansori. Right? Further, this Subansari, just like Kosi, is an antecedent river. Right? Now let's move to the peninsular India or the peninsular drainage. So if we talk about the peninsular drainage, it is older than the Himalayas itself. The peninsular rivers are fed. चलो इसके बारे में डिफरेंस हम बाद में देखेंगे. Right. Further, the western side is submerged or subsided, while the eastern side is emergent. That's why we have major natural ports and harbors in the western India, in the western coast. Recent example is of Vizhinjam port, right? And we all know the tilt, that is from northwest to southeast, right? The first river is the Mahanadi river. It has its origin in Chhattisgarh. Then it flows to Odisha and some part in Maharashtra as well, right? But the larger part, बस आप इतना याद रखना कि origin इसका कहाँ पर है, छत्तीसगढ़ में, ठीक. The second is Godavari, which is also known as the Dakshin Ganga. It is the longest river of the peninsular India, right? Plus the entire river is not navigable, as in कि आप पूरी नदी में अपनी शिप या बोट को लेके नहीं जा सकते, ओनली द लास्ट पार्ट और द डेल्टाइक रीजन ऑफ राजामंड्री आंध्र प्रदेश, ओनली दैट पार्ट इज़ नेविगेबल, यानी कि आप बोट्स वगैरह वहाँ पे यूज़ कर सकते हो, या फिर छोटे छोटे नॉट छोटे छोटे बेसिकली क्या बोलते हैं, फेरीज आप यूज़ कर सकते हो, राइट? नॉट द होल पार्ट इज navigable, only the last part, that is Rajamundry, Andhra Pradesh, right? It has its origin in Nashik, महाराष्ट्र, एंड महाराष्ट्र में ही अपना 50% पानी ड्रेन कर देती है, ठीक? It flows through the states, of course there will be Maharashtra, MP, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, plus Andhra Pradesh. If we talk about its tributary, few of the tributaries mentioned in the NCERT are Pranhit, Manjra, Penganga, and Indravati river, right? The third one is the Krishna river. Krishna river has its origin at Mahabaleshwar, Maharashtra. Right? Mahabaleshwar is in the Sahyadris, that is the Western Ghats. Right? Its tributaries are Koyna, Bhima, Tungabhadra. These are few of the tributaries of the river Krishna. This Krishna river passes through, of course, Maharashtra. अब आप नीचे आ जाओ, क्योंकि गोदावरी के नीचे ही क्या है, कृष्णा है, बट विद सम गैप. तो जो ऊपर की स्टेट्स थी, अब वो दे वोंट फाइंड स्पेस इन इट. फॉर इंस्टेंस ऊपर की स्टेट्स लाइक मध्य प्रदेश, छत्तीसगढ़ एंड उड़ीसा, दे वोंट फाइंड स्पेस इन इट, बट रादर द मोर सदर्न स्टेट्स विच आर महाराष्ट्र, कर्नाटका, आंध्र प्रदेश एंड तेलंगाना, right? The fourth is the Kaveri river, right? And it is smaller than Mahanadi, right? Mahanadi खुद भी छोटी है, but it is उससे भी कावेरी उससे भी छोटी है. Further, it has its origin at the Brahmagiri hills, Karnataka. It flows through states like Kerala, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. And Tamil Nadu alone has 55% drainage of the river Kaveri. Okay? If we talk about the river Narmada, right? Let's say this is Vindhyas and this is Satpura. तो यहाँ पे नर्मदा नदी बह रही है, right? And it has its origin at Amarkantak, just like Son river, the southern tributary of the river Ganga. Right? Further, it is also linked to the धुआंधार waterfalls at जबलपुर. ठीक. इसके अलावा द सरदार सरोवर प्रोजेक्ट is linked to the river नर्मदा. ठीक भाई. If we talk about the Tapi river, it has its origin in Betul, Madhya Pradesh, right? And it flows through the states of Madhya Pradesh plus Maharashtra plus Gujarat. But despite having its origin in the state of Madhya Pradesh, that is at Betul, महाराष्ट्र के अंदर इसका 80% ड्रेनेज होता है, राइट. द सेवंथ इज द लूनी रिवर. लूनी रिवर इज एन एफीमरल river, that is it is there for a very short time. कुछ समय बाद पता ही नहीं चलेगा कि लूनी रिवर यहाँ से बहती भी है कि नहीं. Further, it is the largest river of Rajasthan. Right? And the tributaries of the Luni river are Sabarmati, and Saraswati river. ठीक भाई. चलिए, let's move further. Now we'll look at the western and the eastern flowing rivers, but you know the smaller rivers. हमको larger river का तो पता ही है, but now we'll look at the क्या बोलते हैं उसको, the smaller rivers. ठीक है. Smaller rivers के केस में eastern और western flow. If we talk about western side, Gujarat holds the distinction of having 4 rivers which are flowing in the western direction, which is Shetrunji, Bhadra, Sabarmati, and Mahi river. If we talk about Maharashtra, there is Vetarna river, right? Karnataka, Sharavati, and Kali Nadi. If we talk about Goa, these are Mandovi and Juari river. If you talk about Kerala, Bharatapuza, the longest river of Kerala, then the Periyar river, the second longest river of Kerala, right, and the Pamba river, right. If we talk about the smaller east flowing rivers are Subarnarekha, Baitarni, Brahmani, Pennar, and Palar. Don't confuse it with the river Periyar, right? Pennar is an eastern flowing river and the Periyar is the western flowing river. Now let's look at few of the differences of the northern rivers and the peninsular rivers, right? So the northern rivers are the perennial rivers, which means they are there for the whole year, while the perennial rivers are seasonal depending upon the rains. Right, perennial northern rivers form has a large basin. It is small. We have already seen how many smaller rivers are there. Those are in the the peninsular block. Third, usually they have a origin from the glaciers, and for the peninsular rivers, these are the plateaus and highlands. Fourth, northern rivers are young. The peninsular rivers are old. And since the northern rivers are young, so they show feature of the meandering, where there is no such feature, no meandering in the peninsular rivers, right? The fifth is these are antecedent rivers, which means they have stick to their original course despite the change in physiography of India, while the peninsular rivers are not antecedent, right? So that is the end of this chapter as far as your NCERT is concerned. That's all it was written, and I have this chapter is very important for your exam. So keep watching the video, try to revise it a couple of times, and you'll get the hang of it. Till the next time, take care of yourself.